Welcome back to the Terminal Exchange, the official podcast of Nussbaum Transportation, where we explore key issues and compelling stories in the trucking industry. I'm your host, Dayton Rumbold, and you're listening to episode 113, Remember to F.R.O.G, telling stories with Tom Reichert. Tom had a 9-year custody battle to fight for his kids. In this, he learned what it meant to really fight for your family. Tom also finds hope in an unusual place. To learn more about Tom and his story, please tune in to this featured exchange. Welcome back to the Terminal Exchange. I'm here with Tom Reichert.
Yep.
The greatest, the man, the myth, the legend, Tom Cat. Yeah.
Depends upon the legend.
Yeah. You're a legend in my mind. So.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for being here. You've had a long day. What's your favorite Pop-Tart flavor?
Strawberry.
Strawberry?
Yes, definitely. And it has to be toasted.
Toasted.
Yep. I can't have it just out of the box and out of the bag. It's got to be toasted too.
Okay. That's an icebreaker question I've been asking a lot is, what's your favorite Pop-Tart flavor? And my brother always told me that a good icebreaker question can really help just in any conversation, but I think I've used that one a little too much recently. Do you have a go-to icebreaker that you like to use?
Not really.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. What's your name? What do you like to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just get down to the facts.
Okay. That's great. Well, I think the story that we talked about with Tom is a little bit with his family, and your story is different in the way of we take our family for granted, and you really had to work for getting your family unit. And that's something that is pretty special, I think, and I'm excited to talk about it a little bit here this morning. The motto is faith and family, so, we had to talk about it.
Yep, exactly. No, family is very, very important to me, and I've learned in my years that once you kind of put your career before your family, everything goes to just a mess. I mean, every aspect of your life, you'll have trouble in your career, definitely with your family. Your faith starts to slip. Faith and family are so connected in my mind.
How long have you been driving?
I have been driving if you include the CDL school, just over 2 years.
Okay, that's great. And you said the company was it Grand Island?
Grand Island Express was my first company that took a leap of faith with me. I knew of one or two people there, one of the recruiters, of course, and it was a good company to work for, but some things just didn't fit. And I just needed to get the family still involved with my life and everything. And so I had actually applied while I was in CDL school to like 5 different companies, and Nussbaum was one of them because I did a lot of research of what I wanted to, where I wanted to go and everything. And it was probably the furthest away from home for me. But at the time, Nussbaum didn't take new graduates. You had to have so much experience. But thumbs up to CJ. He gave me a call at just the right time and said, "Hey, we might have something for you. Are you still interested?" And so I listened to what he had to say, and I said, "All right, I'm in."
You sipped on the tea and you said, "Maybe I'll give it a shot."
That's right. It was the perfect little bit of sugar and spice,
Yeah. So And you're kind of new to trucking, like you said, 2 years.
Yes.
So you're just getting into it, getting your
Yep.
feel for it. How's the lifestyle? I mean, that's a certain change.
It's actually been really nice for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been when it's like one-on-one or a small group, I open up. But when it's a larger group or whatever, I kind of put my walls up and everything and become more of a people watcher. And so being out on the road, things that were going on in my life a few years ago just made it where I didn't want to people anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I went home and told my wife, I'm done peopling. I'm done.
No more.
No more. I got to find something where I can be out there with my own thoughts.
Yeah.
And, focus on priorities in life, family and faith and everything.
And that's what attracted you to trucking, was being able to be your own captain
Yep.
of your ship.
That's right.
Yeah, definitely a unique thing.
And I look at it as though it's kind of like camping.
Yeah.
Because you're camping away from home.
It is.
And
every day.
Yeah. So
when I started, I used to work at Chick-fil-A, and they would ask you in the interview process, where do you want to work? Do you want to work at the front? Do you want to work drive-through? Do you want to work in the kitchen? And they would say, like, if you have that personality of wanting to just give me my own stuff and I want to do it, then you should work in the kitchen.
You're right.
That's your jam. So
Yep.
I think you would make a good Chick-fil-A line cook.
Well, in my past, I've been a lot of things in restaurants too.
Okay. Just random other things. What other restaurant gigs have you done?
Well, for those of you that have heard of Runza Restaurants, I at one time was a part of store management for them, restaurant management. If you don't know what a Runza is, look it up. Go through Nebraska and you'll see them all over the place. I also worked, my first job in restaurant was with a Golden Corral.
Oh, really?
No restaurant experience, really. I went in and interviewed, and they hired me as an assistant manager at 18 years of age.
Wow.
So
the youngest assistant manager ever to live, maybe.
Probably. I don't know.
Assistant manager or assistant to the manager?
Assistant manager.
Nice.
Yep.
There's a joke in the office where it says he's the assistant to the manager.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's great. So I have this pod deck of questions here. I'm going to ask you to pick one of them, and you're going to have to answer it, okay?
All right.
Choose carefully.
I'm going to go back here where you're kind of hiding them.
All right. Oh.
And this one.
All right. You want to read it out?
Have you ever had a this can't be happening moment? What was it? Oh, my.
Yeah.
Have I ever had one? I've had several that come to mind. This can't be happening. Probably the biggest one for me was the birth of my oldest daughter. I was still young. Goodness, I was 8. No, I wasn't quite 18 yet. I was almost 18 years old when she was born. And, most of my classmates in high school were worried about finals or school and everything, and I was worried about that and becoming a father.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow, that's, to have that happen.
Yeah.
That young age.
That was is this really happening?
Game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that totally changed my life in so many ways. Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. Very surreal, I hear. It's one of the most surreal things.
Right. Yep.
So we talked before about highs and lows in our lives, and I would like for you to share a little bit of some of those. We like talking about high parts, but some of those low moments and how you push through them. And I think with your family, I dropped this a little bit earlier, is that you had to really fight for your family, and you're a family man. I can tell that, you just you like having your family together, and you probably have the best dad jokes on deck.
I get told that I've got them by the kids, but
yeah, you just have that look. You could drop a mean dad joke on us.
Oh goodness, a dad joke. Man, put me on the spot.
Right. Think about it, and you
Okay.
can pull it out later.
All right.
But I would like for you to share a little bit of those low moments and how you push through that, and what would that be for your life?
Well, one of my low moments in my life was having my oldest daughter, and at such a young age, and not being married, and what do you do now? Do you marry the girl that I'd been dating in high school and this happened with? Do we keep the child? Do we, and do we raise it? We're just looking back. We were just kids. I mean, I stuck it out. I really sought a lot of advice and hit my knees and just went, nothing happens without you knowing it, Lord. You've got a plan here. Can you share it? Give me the whole game plan, because I want to know what I should be doing. And in life, it isn't really spelled out to you. You got to kind of look between, read between the lines, and kind of figure out.
God's not there telling you to brush your teeth. He doesn't tell you to eat that cereal. Don't eat that cereal. No,
that's right.
He's not there doing that.
Yeah, he's not doing that. But, with my Christian upbringing that I had, I went to a Christian elementary school, junior high, a few years in Christian high school. I also had a year, almost 2 years of public high school. Grew up you go to church every Sunday, you go to, Bible study, youth group, everything. And it's like, okay, God has built this knowledge up in me, but man, it's scary. It's scary. What if I mess up? This is a little girl, what, I'm a guy. What do I know about girls, And
now you have 2 daughters, right?
Yeah, now I have 2 beautiful daughters. They're both grown up, out of the house, and actually, my oldest Taylor, this Saturday is her birthday.
Oh wow!
Her 30th birthday, so that ages me, and she has been living in Texas, and through some things that are happening in her life, she's actually going to come back and live with my wife and I for the next about 3 to 4 months, because she's a traveling nurse, and she's going to work at the hospital there where we live in Kearney, Nebraska. And so on her birthday, I get to see her on her birthday, and it's been many years since I've gotten to see her on her birthday.
It's special.
It is. Yeah. It is. She was supposed to be here 2 weeks ago, and things happened, and I'm just like, oh no, come on, and because, my daughter and I, well, both my daughters and I got kind of a strained relationship as they were graduating from high school, and, everything that they were going through and I was going through. And I mean, as we talked on the phone a few days ago, it seems like my life has just been a roller coaster of ups and downs, of lots of low spots, going through a divorce.
Right.
Actually 2 divorces ultimately.
Right.
And now I'm remarried to a wonderful Christian woman that truly God has brought to my life. And So,
Yeah.
I'm rambling.
So help me talk me through that. How did that happen? And so you had this young baby girl,
Right.
and you're like, what on earth am I doing? And all these questions about the future coming up. And so you ended up, you got married.
Got married to
right?
to the mother.
Mhm.
Yep. And we were married for about 5.5 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then, unfortunately, there was a parting of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And the divorce part was easy. But we had yet another daughter together. And so when we're going through this divorce, it was the custody of who's going to raise the girls.
Mm-hmm.
And my faith and everything was really challenged because I had so many people telling me, you're the guy, they're girls, you'll never get custody of them, first of all, because you're a guy, they're girls, the mother always gets them, should I fight for them, and that was a 3-year process just to have the courts finally decide who should have custody. And that's another low. I ended up losing custody of my daughters, because through most of the proceedings over those 3 years, I had them through their school years because we had decided, the girls shouldn't change schools or whatever, or anything. But, I had an extreme low of my life just walked out the door because I didn't win the court case like everyone was telling me.
How'd you feel after that?
Oh my goodness. I was so down. I was. And, but there again, God knew what was going to happen and how I was going to be. He knows us, knows
when we sit down and when we rise.
Yeah. I mean, God knows every hair on the top of our heads, let alone what we're thinking, how we're going to react and everything. And the good thing about it was he had put me in a position where I was coaching junior high girls basketball at that time at a Lutheran school in Nebraska. And crazy as it is, I threw myself into working with those girls and kind of adopting them to kind of fill the gap of my girls moving 3 hours away and not getting to see them very often. God knew what I needed there, and he filled it in. And, we ended up, the Lutheran schools in Nebraska all come together, the junior high or whatever, and have a big tournament at Concordia College in Seward. And we won the championship. I had devoted the whole season, and so did my team that I had was an awesome group of girls. And shoot, we beat all odds and we won the championship. And so that was a high, but yet at the same time, it was, my girls aren't here to enjoy it with me.
Yeah.
So that was another high low at the same time,
Yeah.
So.
And so then later, did you get custody over them later? Okay.
Almost a year later, I ended up getting custody of them. There was a domestic thing at their mom's house that happened, and I got emergency custody, and she signed over full custody to me at that point. Just she wanted to make sure that I wasn't gonna, totally keep her out of the girls' lives or whatever. Her life was a mess at that time, and so I brought the girls in, and they were my world again. that gap was refilled. And being a dad, single parent to two girls at that time, you know, they were both under 10 years of age, you know, so it wasn't like I was dealing with teenagers quite yet, but still, not easy. I had to really rely on family and friends, and I actually moved back to my hometown so that my parents could help me out.
Yeah.
And, you know,
being a single
dad,
dad at that time, needed help. And
yeah, I did. McDonald's wasn't going to make all the meals, and I couldn't afford that either. So, you know,
Happy Meal again.
Yeah, exactly. But
come on,
you know, my mom at that time, she did daycare already in her home. So, I mean, it was real easy. Just here you go, Mom. And growing up, I had worked with my dad in his own business, and so I went back to work for her dad. And so there again, family was there for me. And through that, you know, that was minor construction, mostly house painting and stuff like that, and maintenance work on buildings and all that. And I'd be sitting there painting someone's house, and I'd have a radio next to me, and I'm listening to Christian music, and I'm refinding the Lord and rebuilding my strength of my faith. And so God took something that was yuck, I mean, to the extreme of a divorce, losing custody, regaining custody once again, going, oh, I can't believe this is happening. What now? What do I do? You know, and he made it awesome. When you give up your life to him, he'll show you the way.
Yeah, that was kind of a refining period for you.
Yes,
it sounds like. And how's that verse go? Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he'll make right your paths.
Well, there's different versions, but you're straighten your path or whatever.
Straighten your path. Yeah, and so that's what you're doing. You're committing your ways to God.
Was getting back on the path to him, and you know.
Was it around this time you found the frog? Was that?
Yes.
When did the frog happen?
The frog was during that whole custody battle and everything. I came across, as we had talked, a little wall hanging that had a frog hanging on a log, and I had my wife send me a picture of it after we had talked the other day, because I couldn't remember. It says hang tough, and then it had frog, fully rely on God. And it's a frog about like you kind of printed up there.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I printed it out just because he shared the story of you were at the bookstore, you saw the sign, and you said, I have to have that sign.
I'm like, and you know, my girls to this day will still every once in a while ask, you know, where's the frog?
Yeah.
And, you know, so maybe I wasn't the only one that would look at it, because I had it by our front door in the house.
Yeah.
And, you know, you look at it, you kind of touch it while you're going out, and it really brings you back home.
Yeah. It's such a small thing, but a thing like that can be an awesome reminder. You were going through a really tough time, and I can just see you picking out the signs like, you know, we're doing frog. We're fully relying on God. That's what we're doing.
That's right.
And then, you know, your girls saw that, and they look up, and it's like, the frog's so cute, but then also it has a great message to it.
Yeah. And, you know, with things that are going on right now with my oldest daughter, Taylor, you know, over the phone while I'm driving down the road, we were talking, and I just said, well, Taylor, just frog. And she knew instantly what I was talking about. She's like, oh my goodness, you're so right. Yes. Yeah. And so.
And before Nussbaum, I spent a lot of time doing a podcast called Trust God, Bro.
Oh, okay.
And that was the same idea as frog, fully rely on God, is to trust God, like to use him as your foundation, like the thing you're holding on to,
Yep.
when all else slips away. And like when you lose something, it makes you appreciate it even more when you get it. But going through that, losing the custody, and you
Yep.
really do have to frog.
Oh yeah. There was many times that it's like, oh man, I don't know if I could go on living.
Mm-hmm.
The dark cloud is over me, and it's only getting bigger, and it's
Right.
gonna just keep storming. When's it gonna quit?
Right.
And
And there are tons of days like that when
oh yeah.
when is the storm going to end?
Mm-hmm.
And a verse that's helped me recently has been in Romans 8. It says, "No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. For I'm sure that neither height nor depth, nor angels, nor rulers, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God in Christ Jesus."
That's right.
And it's like, yeah, there's going to be storms. There's going to be days when you're not going to want to get out of
Mm-hmm.
bed. But then you can have this hope that, okay, there's something, like he's not going to leave me.
Right.
He's still going to be there.
Yep. He
Yeah.
still has a purpose
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
Purpose driven.
Purpose driven, baby.
That's right.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and so many of the things, the mottos here, own it,
Mm-hmm.
purpose driven. I was just telling Kevin Funk
Mm-hmm.
earlier today, because when I first came, my frame of mind wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
I knew when CJ called me that it was God
Mm-hmm.
saying, "I got somewhere else for you. We
Yeah.
gotta get back together."
Yeah.
And being here, I've refound what I had been losing and pushing away, and
Mm-hmm.
putting everything else before my faith or my
Mm-hmm.
walk with God, or being the perfect example for my family, for my grandkids now. I've got 3 grandkids,
Wow.
2
Yeah.
boys and a girl, and unfortunate but yet fortunate. That's another high low for me.
Right.
Is I love kids, absolutely love kids. My daughters.
Is that the high or the low? No, I'm just kidding.
It depends upon the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, my first grandchild, my youngest daughter, had followed in my footsteps in high school, and became pregnant, and she knew she didn't want to stay with the father of the child, and she was seriously thinking about aborting it. And after talking to her and her some of her Christian friends, I'm on the phone going, "Hey, so-and-so, you really need to talk to Taylor or Britton right now." Britton's my youngest daughter. And, because I didn't want to let it out that she was pregnant and what she was thinking, but you really need to pray for her, please. And,
Yeah.
we need to really show her support right now. And some of her best friends that I'm calling up are like, "Tom, why are you calling me even?" Because
Right.
I've never called them before.
Right. This is
But
the first time.
but she ended up giving Shay, I won't say the last name now, but gave her up for adoption to a beautiful couple from down south. And sorry, I've got so many memories coming
Yeah.
to mind. The awesome thing about when Taylor, my oldest, was born was I got to give her her first bath, and then hold her afterwards. And with my
That's your first grandbaby.
no,
Or sorry.
that was my oldest daughter.
Your oldest daughter, sorry.
Now, fast forward to the granddaughter,
Yeah.
Shay. The parents were nice enough, the adoptive parents, because I'd gotten to meet them that weekend and had gotten kind of close with them, and they let me be part of the first bath.
Mm-hmm.
I started it, and then halfway through, I turned it over to them. Sorry.
It's okay.
But that had meant so much to me back when my oldest daughter was born,
Mm-hmm.
to give her her first bath
Yeah.
without I told you I was going to need Kleenexes.
I
You
should've
didn't bring
brought 'em.
them.
I'm
You didn't
sorry.
bring them.
I have this
Anyways,
frog that you can
yeah.
use.
But you know, that was such a bond at that moment, and then without planning it at all, just spur of the moment, we came back from eating lunch together, the adoptive parents and I and a few others, and the nurse came and got them, and they're like, Tom, come on, we're going to do the bath. And I don't remember whether I had told them about that special moment with my oldest,
Yeah.
but to do that and then to turn it over to them,
Yeah.
you know, I just think of Abraham and Isaac,
Yeah.
you know, so here comes the crocodile tears. Sorry.
No, it's all right. I mean, just that significance of turning the child over to the adoptive parents. I mean, that was,
Right.
and specifically feeling the weight of that. Yeah.
Yeah, because now I've got two grandsons that are about a year apart, and you know, just this last Easter, a week ago, you know, I was holding the one, the other one comes into the room and instantly points at me and goes, "My papa," and you know, so I went over and grabbed him. So I've got both boys and one in each arm, and we got pictures of that, and just the big smiles on their faces. And you know,
it's hard to beat that.
Every day I'm looking at those pictures and going, okay, I got to be safe out here on the road for them.
Right. You want to do it for them.
Right.
And
right.
Thinking too of all the work that you did in order to have your family.
To get to that point.
To get to that point, most people, they just, for me, my family's there. Like, I never had to work. I mean, we still have to work for relationships, but you know what I mean? That I didn't have to do what you did to have your family.
Yeah, it's been highs and lows, and you know, a struggle at times, but man, the good times are good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
makes you appreciate it even more.
Oh yeah.
So I don't want to skip over anything if we missed anything with your story.
No, as I told you on the phone when we were talking, I could go on for hours about highs and lows and everything. And I've brought up some new stuff even today.
That we didn't talk about last time. So then meeting your current wife, we didn't really touch on that as much, but in the last 10 years or so.
We've been married a little over 9 years.
Okay.
She was nice enough to me to pick a day for our wedding, 12, 13 of 14. You know, so it's easy for a guy to remember, you know.
That's very convenient.
Yeah, it was nice of her. Yeah, that's for sure. We both really liked Christmas, the meaning of Christmas and everything, and so that's why we decided to get married in December. And you know, we had it just we had her 3 kids and my 2 daughters as our people to stand up in our ceremony with just family, and then we had reception, and but that the first couple of years of blending the family
Yep.
was difficult.
And you mentioned that too.
Yes.
That blending was really hard.
Yes, because when we met on a Christian website or dating app, and I knew what I kind of wanted in a wife, but also the whole time of being single, being just the dad, I seeked it more than I think my girls even did, to find someone that could be a good role model to them as a female.
Yeah.
And here I am. I can tell them that, the Lord says the woman is supposed to be submissive to her husband, or, and all that. But when I met my wife, Denise, she'll tell you that there were days that it was like, because it was a second marriage for her, and actually a third marriage for me. And there were days where it was like, I don't know if this is gonna stay together, because my oldest was already off to college and married, because she married someone in the military, and he was getting deployed. And, so I had a junior in high school. Her two oldest are boy and girl twins. No, they're not identical.
Okay, right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to pause and think for a moment.
That's kind of the joke that my wife always has, so I had to throw that in.
Yeah, you got to.
And 'cause she would always get asked, "Are they identical?" Well, they're a boy and a girl, so not exactly.
No.
But
Obligatory
they were in their senior year, and they were both involved in cheerleading and basketball and football and track and dance, and my youngest daughter played softball. Well, we were kind of a softball family. And then she had a younger son that was in like 5th or 6th grade. So all the dynamics of having seniors and younger kids, and that was a lot of struggle of, am I spending enough time with just my girls to make them still feel special?
Yeah.
But yet I want these possible step kids of mine to look up to me and get to know me really well, and I don't want to be a stranger to them, and I want to see if Denise is even right for me in our dating process. And we get married, and then we just had the 2 younger ones at home, and for the first 3 years, there was many times that we'll talk about that. It'll be like, how did we ever make it?
Right.
But now she has grown to be such a best friend to me. And when I am at my wit's end about work or whatever, she's been my rock, and just an amazing woman. And she's kind of like me, where out in public, I'm not the Bible thumping, talking about my faith,
right?
Probably like I should be, like I am now. But when we're with friends or family that we know have the same faith and beliefs and everything, we're right there to stand up for what we believe in and everything, and together. And that's something you don't find too often anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, you'd have to put a lot more thought into that. The blending.
The blending. Oh, yeah.
A lot more thought into that.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. So what does the future look like? What's down the road? Yeah, when you think about that, what comes to mind?
Wishful thinking, that I win the lottery and
Retire. Yeah.
you know, my wife says, "Oh yeah, I'd quit my job right away." I don't think I would.
Mm-hmm.
I would buy my own truck
Yeah.
with a larger sleeper
Nice.
and everything, and she'd be on the road with me, and
Right.
we'd travel around to see the kids and grandkids.
Get a limo sleeper. I don't even know if they make those, but super extended cab.
Yeah, well, we'd make it big enough, but yet still reasonable.
Part RV, part semi-truck.
Yeah, hey, they got them out there. Believe me, I've seen videos or pictures of them, but
Yeah.
I don't think I would quit trucking.
Yeah. You've really grown to love
enjoy it. I so enjoy it. You know, waking up in the morning. You know, I used to get out to Pennsylvania a lot, and I really miss it because out there you got the mountains, you got the hills, you got so many trees that change colors in the fall, and just an amazing. And then to wake up, go outside, kind of stretch or whatever, breathe in that mountain air and see that sunrise and just go, wow, God, you really outdone yourself again, you know, or the sunsets at night, you know, when you're driving down the road, you know, all of you drivers, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, just everyone's like, oh, you're a truck driver. You gotta go wherever you want and see all kinds of things. Yeah. We got to see the highway, the interstate, the shippers, receivers, and all those crabby people that can't drive out there. Right. But, you know, I learned early on, take off the blinders and see the whole picture.
See the whole picture.
And see what God has created for us to enjoy.
And that's something we can take on for all of life. It's easy to put the blinders on and miss the beautiful things around us. And waking up early, seeing those beautiful sunrises.
First of all, that waking up early is a big step.
Yeah. I skipped over that. Yeah, that's the hardest part. Not with Folgers in your cup.
Oh, you're showing a little age there.
Right. No, that's a common one. So there's some beauty there. I like that phrase, not putting the blinders on.
Yep.
That's great. Well, I'm ready to wrap up. Are there any shout-outs you'd like to have to anyone, your family, anyone you know that you would like to give a shout-out to?
Oh, man. The list is long. Family-wise, my wife, Denise, I don't know if you'll see this eventually or not, but I'm still in awe of how amazing you are. All 5 of my kids, you know, don't know what life would be like without any of you. Otto and Winston. And then the bun in the oven. We're expecting another grandchild the first part of June.
Congrats.
Thank you. Don't know if it's going to be a boy or girl, but, you know, shout out to them. You know, the Otto and Winston, those are my boys.
Yeah.
Those are Papa's boys. And, you know, shout out to CJ here, guy that gave me the call, and just to so many people that have been in my life, but, you know, just right here at Nussbaum, Jarrett Knight. I have told you several times, Jarrett, you can't go anywhere and I won't go anywhere. And if we keep that, we're good. Safety department, you know, all of you there. Shout out to you guys. Tian up front, you know, this whole day, I didn't have my ID. I couldn't get in this building without her going, it's open, you know, and she's been such a help, and, you know, just everyone here. in the office has been wonderful. Thank goodness I haven't had a whole lot of interaction with the shop people, but the people that I have been great.
Yeah.
Other drivers, I've gotten to meet some. I'm not a real people person. Still don't want to people much. But I love it when I'm going down the road and I see the lights flash and we wave to each other or whatever. That's brotherhood.
Yeah.
That's a neat thing. My dad, shout out to my dad. I know you probably won't see this. He's in his mid 80s, but he made me the man that I am today. In so many ways.
And I feel like a good man will know where you came from, and realizing that we stand on the shoulders of giants, and that I really appreciate your humility in that. That's pretty cool to see. Yeah. So shout out to him.
Oh yeah, definitely. I could go on and on, but yeah, my family and anyone that I've interacted with at this job or any other job that have it takes a village.
Yeah.
It really does. And I'm so glad to be somewhere where the village is faith focused, finally.
Yeah. Every certified red, Brent will say that. It's like, you look around, these are all the people that help support you. And then also with your family, those are the people that support you. It's not just you, Tom, on the road, but it's the whole team that takes to get you to do what you do.
Yep.
And it's a beautiful thing.
It is. It's unbelievable at times. Yep.
Yeah. So I have a small game, very short.
Okay.
And we can wrap up. So this is called Hot Takes. So I picked out two or three hot takes, and they're things that you may or may not agree with. That's why it's called a hot take.
All right.
And you can give me your thoughts. So first one I have is spring is the best season. Big no-no on that.
Big no-no. My favorite season, even driving semi, is winter.
Is winter.
Fall and winter.
Wow, that is a hot take right there. Winter's the best season.
I am not afraid of snow.
Yeah.
I don't really like ice for driving on, but
Fair.
I'm not scared of it, but yet I am driving around at someone else's truck and trailer and cargo and everything, but I don't sit there and white knuckle it. If I'm white knuckling it, it's really bad. But wintertime, just, I see the snow and I think it's the washing of the world. God is scrubbing it, making us all white again.
Yeah. It is beautiful. A nice white snow is really beautiful.
In the fall, driving, oh my goodness. There's nothing like it with all the changing colors. And like I said, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, just awesome. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I'm partial to fall. It's always been my favorite. I mean, I feel like the start of school season has always been a part, but then football and
high school football, you bet.
Under those lights, and for
Go
me,
Huskers.
Go Huskers.
Yeah, Nebraska Cornhuskers, we're coming back. It's only been 30 years, but we're going to do it.
Yeah. Just you wait. So this will be the year. But yeah, I ran cross country, and I always really enjoyed that, the beginning of the fall season. For me, it felt a newness.
Yep.
They say spring brings new, but also I feel like fall does for me.
Right, yep.
Next question, or hot take, is pie is better than cake.
Ooh. My mother makes a brownie cake with homemade fudge frosting. Nothing beats it. Nothing.
Yeah.
And as a family, we're worried that she's going to take the recipe to her grave.
Yeah.
And she's getting close because she's in her 80s. But, no. I've had some really good pies, but
yeah,
brownie cake
hard
from
to beat.
Mom. Can't be beat.
Okay. All right. I should get a piece sometime. I'll have to find out a way, maybe get a recipe.
I haven't had a piece in forever either.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to work on that for both of us.
Right. Oh, look forward to trying some. So, do you watch Marvel, DC movies? Is that something that...
A little bit.
Okay.
Not a whole lot.
Okay,
no.
I'll skip that hot take.
Okay, good.
All right, this hot take...
What was it going to be anyways?
It was DC is better than Marvel. So if that's,
No clue.
No clue.
Move on.
All right. You have to read the book before you see the movie. Do you agree with that?
Have to read the book before you see the movie.
That's a hot take right there.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. Because I've done it both ways. Oh, goodness. I could... For the last year or so, that's all I've done is listen to audiobooks instead of the radio or anything. Yep. And there's so many movies that I've seen that now I've read or listened to the book, and I'm like, well, that wasn't in the movie. Or I've read the book and now a movie comes out and it's like, well, they skipped that part. That was the best part, you know? And so I don't know. I like the whole picture, you know. Take the blinders off. Let's see the whole picture.
The book and the movie.
You get the book where you visualize it in your mind. Safety, that's where I tunnel vision, and you know, during the day when I'm driving, listening to the book, just an FYI.
Gotta drop that.
Yeah. I don't remember where I was going with this.
Books versus movies.
Yeah. But you know, you got to visualize it while you're reading / listening to the book. But the movie is great because it makes it real.
Come to life.
Yeah, come to life. That's a good way to phrase it. Yep.
Yeah.
And because there's been many movies that I've watched where now I'm reading the book and I see Matthew McConaughey being that lawyer and or Tommy Lee Jones being, you know, the actor in the movie. And when I read the book, I would have never thought of Tommy Lee Jones, but
there he is.
He did it. Yeah, he did it great. So, you know, it's things like that. So, it's a tie.
Yeah, it seems like you're cut right down the middle.
I am. It
couldn't go one way.
They both... I'm not a reader, so maybe I should just say movie is better than the book.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'd much rather visualize it or hear it than read it.
Take your stand.
I am.
Movie's better than the book.
That's right. You know, support those crazy Hollywood stars. No, please don't.
Yeah.
Most of them don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being on today.
Yeah, this was fun.
It. We're kind of doing this after hours, after the day's been done. So I appreciate you staying around for us to record this.
Doing some Cert Red training today. Did a DOT physical, and I get to end the day with you telling stories about my life. How about that?
It's been really fun.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that.
Yep.
So just thinking about it, you know, remember F.R.O.G. Fully rely on God.
Yep, always.
Always. Just think of that picture, that cute smiling frog.
Hanging on. Hang tough. Yep,
hanging
exactly.
On the log.
Yep.
Yeah. So thanks again, Tom.
Yeah,
really
thank
appreciate you. Well, that concludes our episode. Thank you for listening. And until next time, stay purpose-driven and own it every moment.
Hey everyone, this is Caleb from Nussbaum Recruiting, and I'd love to answer any questions you have about driving with us. Give us a call at 309-268-1199 or visit nussbaumjobs.com. Hope to talk to you soon. You've been listening to Terminal Exchange, the official podcast of Nussbaum Transportation. If you're enjoying our content, please leave us a review. Your reviews help us spread the word about these important topics and invite more people into the conversation. You can rate and review us on your podcast app or visit us online at terminalexchange.org. New episodes arrive every other Tuesday, so be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow Nussbaum on your favorite social media platforms and be the first to know when new episodes are released. Thanks for listening. Until next time, own every moment and stay purpose-driven.